Hey everyone, this is MNL2, and today in this video, I want to take a look at 5 of Six Flags Magic Mountain's already existing rides and discuss some upgrades that I believe would ultimately enhance the ride's experience. In case you didn't know, I have already made a video regarding 5 rides that I would like to see upgraded, but considering the large amount of attractions that Magic Mountain has, I wanted to make a part 2 video talking about 5 different rides that I could also see benefit from an upgrade. If you want to see the other video, then the link will be in the top right hand corner of the screen right now, as well as in the description below. To summarize, I wanted new trains and a retrack on Viper, this to happen to Sunday the Ride. This was also a concept that I created in Elements 2 if you want to check it out. A repair and renovation of Sky Tower, a reprogramming on Twisted Colossus, and an updated theme on Apocalypse. Now, before I go on to these next 5 rides, I just wanted to say that I had already written all of these rides down, along with the upgrades that I had thought of to make a note to myself for the future. And some of these same upgrades that I'm going to be discussing have actually also been suggested to me on the first video. And so I just wanted to say that I promise I'm not copying or stealing from anyone. These were things that I had also thought of, and I really want to see them happen. With that out of the way, if you find yourself enjoying any of my videos, or find them interesting, informative, or entertaining in any way, then please feel free to like the video below to help out the channel, and to help me to keep providing good content for your enjoyment. Thank you. The first ride in this list that I want to see upgraded at Six Flags Magic Mountain is going to be X2, the park's famous aerodynamics 4D coaster. Now, before I go any further, I also want to mention that I don't dislike any of these rides, but rather quite the opposite. I actually love all of these rides, as well as the ones I discussed in the other video, and so I just wanted to clarify that these are just going to be things that could be added in order to enhance the ride's enjoyability even more. So with that said, X2 has actually already received a major upgrade during its life. When this ride opened in 2002 under the name X, it wasn't quite the same as the X2 we have today. Not only was the color scheme, but the ride didn't feature any sort of special effects whatsoever. When the ride received new trains, new paint, and new effects in 2008, this ride's popularity went up significantly during its first few years of operation as X2. Notice that I said during its first few years. That's because, if you did not already know, X2 has long since stopped using its fog effect, hasn't used its flamethrowers in quite a few years, and will scarcely run with audio. When it does run with onboard audio, it can also sometimes be buggy and not sync up or play very audibly. So the upgrade here is, you guessed it, fix the special effects. I wouldn't mind not seeing the fog come back, as it didn't contribute too much, but it was pretty unique. The main elements I would love to see consistently used are the flamethrowers and the audio. And I know I said that the audio will sometimes work even today, but I would really love to be able to rely on the audio. I would love to see some work done on these sound systems to ensure that they are working properly 100% of the time on both trains that are in use, as it is not impossible for a roller coaster to operate consistently with onboard audio. For example, look at Incredicoaster or Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket. Like seriously, that thing even lets you pick your song out of a list, let alone just play one consistently. And then of course, the flamethrower makes this ride feel so much more extreme as you whiz by it backwards, and it really feels like it's just gonna ignite your face. You can seriously feel the heat from this fire. It would make sense to turn this off during hot days, or maybe during super low attendance days, but to have this working the rest of the time would be amazing to see once again. Now, this next one is probably the least of an upgrade out of the rides on this list, but rather just an improvement in operations, which still technically counts as an upgrade, which is why I've decided to throw it on this list. The ride I am referring to is Tatsu, the park's B&M flying coaster, likely the best B&M flying coaster in North America, with its impressive, unique layout and its astonishing pretzel loop. It's not just coaster enthusiasts that appreciate this magnificent coaster, but also the general public as well. On days that aren't dead empty, this ride will consistently have long wait times due to its immense popularity. The beautiful part about this ride design-wise is that it was originally designed to have super impressive capacity, as its dual station system would normally increase guest throughput considerably. The only way for this dual station system to be super effective, however, is if the ride consistently ran 3 trains. This ride was designed so that there could always be a train on the layout, and the 2 trains in the station would alternate dispatches, with the train mid-ride filling in behind the train that leaves the station. This would also mean that with 3 trains, you would actually exit out of the station opposite to the one you entered. This is why the cubbies in the station are accessible from both sides of the station. But anyways, if this ride was given enough maintenance to where it could consistently operate 3 trains, the line would move much faster, and this legendary roller coaster could accept significantly more guests per hour than it does as of right now. And it's not like this is impossible either. Six Flags still manages to consistently run 3 trains on both Twisted Colossus and West Coast Racers. And granted, both of these coasters rely on the higher train count due to their dueling nature, but I believe that at least on busier days, it wouldn't be unreasonable for me to suggest that Tatsu should operate both stations with 3 trains. The next ride that I want to talk about is going to be the Riddler's Revenge. The Riddler's Revenge is the tallest, fastest, and longest stand-up coaster, and it is the only stand-up coaster remaining on the West Coast. Now, looking at the layout of this coaster, it has an extremely extremely powerful layout. As I discussed in my video ranking Magic Mountain's coasters by intensity, I put Riddler's at number 4, as it delivers incredible amounts of positive G-forces and feelings of sheer speed. The only two things that I find to take away from this ride are the small lack of snappy transitions and the ride's vehicles. Don't get me wrong, I love this coaster, and like I said, it is a super powerful coaster, but the standing position can sometimes just be super awkward and uncomfortable. This ride generally makes my knees and moreover my whole legs feel very wobbly and I don't know, like spaghetti-like, like jelly as people like to describe it. It's a weird feeling to describe, and overall it just kind of makes my whole lower body feel like it is in constant shock. Not in an extreme way, but like I said, it's weird to explain. Then of course, there is the ride's rattle, as this coaster is not extremely smooth. If you keep your head forward, then you can easily avoid the headbanging, but it is rattly, and I guess that just kind of adds to the discomfort of the standing position. So anyways, the solution that I would really love to see take place is a conversion of this ride. We've already seen plenty of other B&M stand-ups being converted into B&M floorlesses, such as CGA's Vortex, Cedar Point's Mantis, and Six Flags America's Apocalypse. So we know that this is possible. Of course, Magic Mountain already has a B&M floorless coaster, Scream, which is also an incredible B&M at Six Flags Magic Mountain and just in general. Seriously, that ride is very underrated. So with all that being said, I would love to see the Riddler's Revenge converted into a B&M sitting coaster. There aren't too many B&M sitting or sit downs out there, especially in the United States, with the only ones in the country being Kumba at Busch Gardens Tampa, Incredible Hulk at Universal's Islands of Adventure, and Wildfire at Silver Dollar City, none of which are anywhere near the West Coast. Turning Riddler's into a B&M sit down would not only make it more comfortable in my opinion, but it would also bring some new life back to this coaster and make it overall more popular in general. The ride was also somewhat recently repainted too, so adding on these new sit-down trains would likely increase its enjoyability overall without actually losing its intensity. Next, I would like to take a look at a much smaller and more child-oriented attraction. This is a very obscure attraction, as you can probably tell by my lack of footage of this thing. This in fact is the Whistle Stop train, located in Whistle Stop Park, near Bugs Bunny World. Now, this train isn't really anything special, but it does sit on a decent-sized plot of land, and it is really one of the few very tame family attractions in the park. This attraction used to also be themed to Thomas the Tank Engine, but ever since Magic Mountain stopped paying for licensing, the Thomas theming has been scrapped, making this ride just a train that goes through some trees. It is a relaxing experience, however, I have not actually seen this attraction operate in years. Given that there are only 2 rides in this section of the park, with the other being Magic Flyer, I would really love to see this train restored and functioning again, with some new theming. In fact, I would actually love to see this area as a whole rethemed, and possibly just merged with Bugs Bunny World. As you can see here by this Google Maps view, the section is closely neighboring Bugs Bunny World, the main children's area of the park, so I would love to see Whistle Stop Park just turned into an extension of Bugs Bunny World, and since Magic Mountain already has licensing to Looney Tunes characters, they could easily just pick a Looney Tunes character for each of these rides to theme these attractions to. The old Thomas theming could be replaced with some Looney Tunes characters' statues placed in various cartoon scenes similar to what we see with like Roadrunner Express. They can even add an onboard storyline soundtrack that plays as the train navigates these props. Basically, exactly like the train in Camp Snoopy at Knott's Berry Farm. This would bring some new life over to this section of the park because in its current state, it honestly just feels deserted and unloved. I would love to see this area thrive with a bit more activity. There's even a gift shop connected to the train station that could also reopen as a smaller version of the Looney Tunes Superstore, but with more kid-oriented merch and souvenirs. Finally, the last ride that I want to talk about is going to be Full Throttle, the park's first premier multi-launch coaster. This coaster's signature vertical loop is not only an element that delivers incredible hang time underneath and insane airtime on the top, but it is also just a magnificent staple of this whole plaza aesthetically, especially when viewed at nighttime. During the nighttime, under normal circumstances, this area is the most hype area of the park, with Full Throttle nights constantly active. Once again, under normal circumstances, as Full Throttle Nights is not currently running. But anyways, when it is running, this area of the park is filled with laser lights, live music performances, dancing, and overall just excitement. Once again, this is all right in front of Full Throttle, with its signature vertical loop looming in the background. Now, I do want to mention that the lights from the plaza's stage will spin around in all directions and periodically project on Full Throttle's loop. However, this ride did actually used to feature colored lights that specifically illuminated the loop. These lights have since been discontinued, which I do find a bit of a bummer. I would really love to see Full Throttle's light package not only reinstalled, but also amplified. Projecting light shows on the entire vertical loop is incredible, but it would be even cooler if they were synchronized with the ride when it launches. Magic Mountain did actually install something similar to this on the new Revolution on its vertical loop, with the lights chasing the train in its circular motion when the train approaches, and then returning back to its idle lighting effects. It would be amazing to see this type of system installed on Full Throttle, but like I said, using projected lights that are programmed to show some sort of a flashy show that follows the train during its loop, and another one to follow it again on the top hat. This would overall add to this ride's super hype vibe during the nighttime. One more thing I would like to see, since we're already talking about lights, is I would love to see the fog and blue LED strips added to the tunnel where the ride stops before backwards launching with the small remix of Ozzy Osbourne's Crazy Train playing. There are currently white strobe lights that are used in there, but I think it would be much cooler to instead use the blue LEDs that were shown during the ride's trailer. They would be turned off upon entering the tunnel, or maybe dimmed with like a small breathing effect as the tunnel fills with fog, and then the ride would launch backwards, and upon re-entering, the blue LEDs would be at their brightest as the train rockets through the fog. These various special effect upgrades, in my opinion, overall make this ride live up to its own theme of living it up. So anyways, those were 5 more rides that I would want to see receive an upgrade. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I do love all of these attractions the way they are right now. With the exception of Whistle Stop Train, I guess. I mean, it's not exactly open, so... But I would still think that these rides would benefit from receiving these upgrades, as it would enhance each ride's experience overall. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you have any rides at this park, or even at any other park, that you would love to see upgraded in one way or another, feel free to comment down below, as I try my best to respond to as many comments as I can. But anyways, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and for the continuous support, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.